I have just finished converting my Snapmaker U1 for a bottom loading, as you can see, and this mod is absolutely awesome. I love this so much, although there are some caveats, and since my SD card corrupted, I lost quite a bit of footage. I'm going to show you a bit of assembly a little bit later in the video, but first let me just give you a quick walk around and explain why I actually did this. So obviously the main reason I decided to do this box right here is space. I do not have nearly enough space in my office, and as awesome as this machine is, it takes a lot of it, because if you use these, you basically have to add not just this to each side, but also at least another length to be able to load your filaments. So basically this is almost 4 inches, let's call it 7 inches altogether, to be able to load the filaments comfortably on each side, and that is 14 inches. That is quite a lot of space, especially since the actual printer itself is just 16 inches wide. So you basically have to double the space to be able to load it comfortably. So removing these and putting all of the spools in the bottom, for me, it just makes sense. And now I am not just manually loading my filaments now, because if you look, I do have to feed it a little bit, and then it takes over. And it's going to load it all the way in, so it's basically same as a stock machine. There is another caveat with this loading, I'm going to explain it in a second. You do get 4 spools, all of these rollers are on bearings, they spin freely. I did modify the design a little bit, I did run my PTFEs a little bit longer. Now if you look at the back, those PTFEs, they used to run to the feeders right over here, and they go on the inside now. I'm going to show you what's inside in a second. This is where the feeders used to mount, now they are covered with this bracket, and this sticking out right here is actually a extension for the feeders. And that is because on the left side, you do get some storage. You get 3 drawers, one of them is pretty big, and you get a small one. And this is actually where you're going to find the feeders. If you do need to service them, then this is only just 1 screw on this side, 1 screw on the other side, and they pop out. So yeah, these PTFEs that you see here are the ones that are running all the way to the tool heads. I actually use star-shaped PTFEs to reduce the friction. Now the model comes with drawers on this side as well. I opted not to do it, I just put a panel. These are mounted with just double-sided tape, so if you need to take them off for service, they just come off. And while the entire project is not exactly difficult, it is definitely not quick, and it is definitely not cheap. It took me 4 days to print all of the parts that I needed, and I used Bambu Lab A1 and Creality Spark XI7 to print all of the parts. I went through quite a bit of filament. The feet over here are actually TPU, so they do not slip, but you also need quite a bit of hardware. I used a lot of M2.5 screws, I used a lot of metal pins, like you see right over here. This one is for the hinges. This is magnetic, by the way, there's magnets on both sides. I did have to buy and cut the acrylic. I did have to buy the feeder extension cables. Everything adds up. So together with filament, you're looking at about $100 of investment. But for me personally, this just makes sense. You are obviously going to use the RFID capability, although I don't think many people actually go out the way to buy Snapmaker filament, unless I am mistaken. I certainly don't. I really don't care about this. But if that is important to you, just keep that in mind. And apart from assembly, there is one more modification that you are going to have to do, and that is with the printer firmware. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I would definitely recommend it. Basically, because these PTFEs are much longer now, when you first set it up and you insert your filament and the feeders actually grab it, you are going to find that instead of stopping somewhere in front of the tool head, the filament is going to stop somewhere around here. And how far it stops is going to depend on how much longer you made the PTFEs. So what you are going to have to do is go to Settings, Maintenance, and Advanced Mode. And this is all thanks to this machine being open source. You can actually mess with configs all you like, and you have to enable this to be able to edit the config file. And when you get to the back end, you are going to have to go to Configuration. You are going to find Printer Config, open it up, and then you are going to look for this line right here, preload length, and you are going to get 2 of them. One is going to be for the right, so feeder number 3 and 4, and one is going to be for the left side, so feeder number 1 and 2. And the stock number right here is going to be 950, and that is in millimeters. So I basically just measured when the filament stopped and added what I thought was close enough. So for the left side I use 1300, for the right side I use 1315. And when you save that, now when I load my filament in and the feeder grabs it, you are going to see that it is now going to stop somewhere around here. There we go, right over here. And the initial manual feeding is needed because you can see those PTFEs are running to the back wall, and right behind this wall are the feeders. So you basically have to load it from here all the way to the feeder, and then it grabs it and it takes over. So yeah, there you have it. I have a print setup now, everything fed properly, everything fed without issues. I'm saving a ton of space, but I'm going to let this print run overnight just to make sure there's no loading or timeout issues. It's been printing all night, no issues whatsoever, everything feeds nicely. I love this so much. That is a ton of space saved. As you can see, I got loads of parts printed here. I've been printing these over the past 4 days. I also have a lot of hardware that I'm going to need for this and a big piece of acrylic. So I'm going to start assembling. that almost the entire base is assembled. I still do have a lot of parts and a lot of hardware, but first I'm going to have to do a little bit of disassembly. Okay, so now these are going to be installed right over there. The only thing is, if you look at the numbers, it goes 1, 2, 4, 3. So you just have to remember to switch the last two when you connect the tool heads. This bracket goes on this side. Okay, these are attached on the inside. So now let's get the rollers done. And that is going to include these right here. I already installed the guides, a bunch of these 3D printed rollers and a bunch of bearings. Just like that, they all go on the inside now, like that, and they will be screwed down. Okay, so these are all screwed in. This is the next step, but I'm going to modify it a little bit. So this is the original part, and from where you load to all the way to the feeders, this model is using 6mm outer diameter PTFEs, and they basically go here, and then you feed them all the way to the actual automatic feeders in the back of the box. But this hole is going to add some resistance to the entire process. So what I did is I drilled these out, so the PTFE actually comes through. And what I'm thinking, I'm going to do two tests in one basically. I'm going to let this one out a little bit. I'm going to use a pneumatic coupler and add another bit so it basically sticks out up until to the middle of spool, something like the CFS on Creality. And if this is going to be too much strain, then I'm just going to snip them off and basically just use them like that. So this one I'm going to cut in half. Okay, all of these installed. Now, is this a good idea? I honestly don't know. There's only one way to find out. Now I need to extend the feeders. So I got these. So now I can install the top. Now I need to glue on the feet which just printed. This is PLA and this is TPU. Okay, feet are on, almost done. So this is how it's looking for now. Now these are actually long enough. I just need those connectors because these are both male connectors. This is basically just a female adapter. So just like that, and included are these brackets. And now I can run the PTFEs. So this is the switch that I was talking about. This is toolhead number 4, but it is not connected to the outermost slot, but rather the one in the middle, because this is number 3 and this is number 4. And you actually do need to cross these two. If you won't do it, then this is going to be slot number 4 and this is going to be slot number 3.